Hey, what's up guys? Zach Calhoon here, co-founder of CloudPano.com. Welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to tell you a story and hopefully teach you how to pre-sell or pre-validate your software idea with no previous customers. And really, it's okay to say this, no clue what you're doing, okay? This is exactly where I was when we first started CloudPano. I remember I had this side hustle that was rolling. One of my team members was like, "Hey, I can do this thing with 360 photos," and I was looking at it and I was like, "What is this? This is like so cool. I think this could be the future." I texted a link over to my buddy Clayton at the time, went to my church, and I was like, "Dude, can we build a software that could build these? I don't really see any major players that are like crushing it here. I think this is the future." And he goes, kind of overconfident at the time. We probably both were. "I can build anything." So he sent it back to me. So I was like, "All right, let's do it." So he, a few hours later, sends me over a link with a 360 image that's fully interactive. And I was moving my phone around and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing. Like, we're going to be rich." That's what I said to myself. Well, I was very naive at that moment, but I think it was really funny. It was a really interesting moment in time because I was driving when I saw this photo and I almost got in a wreck. I didn't know, thank goodness. And I remember saying, "Okay, before you build this, Zach, you've learned the lesson before. You must go pre-sell and pre-validate." So I started to think, I thought, well, let's locally try to sell this as a user. Like if I'm a user, if I'm creating these, basically what they are for the platform was 360 virtual tours. If I'm creating these for customers, who would I create them for? And if I'm a user, if I want to subscribe to this software, who would I be? Who would I become? So you have to start with the who, right? Really important. So I decided I'm going to become the who, and I'm going to go pre-sell this, and I'm going to try to figure this out in the real estate world. This is where I was at the time. So I started to cold call real estate offices. So the Coldwell Bankers of the world, the KWs of the world. This is just large real estate offices. And I found out within a couple calls that if you're a vendor and you want to get in front of everyone in our group, you need to sponsor a sales meeting. I said, "Okay, cool. How much does that cost?" "Well, you just bring breakfast." I said, "Okay, done." So I went to Taco Cabana, which is the taco place in Houston. I bought tacos. I signed up and I showed up and I brought tacos and I presented and I got 5 minutes to pitch. So I would plug in my computer. I would bring up a couple slides, show some examples, and then I would say, and I even passed out my phone with the one working photo that Clayton sent to me. Now, and I basically said, "Hey, check this out, look at it." And I had a piece of paper on the very top. It says, "I want a 360. That's all it said. And I said, if you're interested in this, I'll have a one-time offer. I'll do a 50% discount. Just write down your name and email, and it's yours for any upcoming listing." Well, I did this the first time. I got 10 folks to sign up. The next time, I went to another Coldwell Banker in a different part of Houston, and I got about 25 people to sign up. So like 35 people that like all said they want this discount. They all want to try it. They all want it. And so I had this list, and I sent a picture to Clayton. I said, "We're doing this. I mean, we validated it." So he's like, "Let's go, giddy up." So we were like, I'm all excited because I validated that people are willing to spend money in the space. Super big deal. So before you start any kind of software, you must go validate people are willing to spend money in the space. That's a big deal. And yes, there could be websites that are already doing it and they have certain prices and whatever. Doesn't matter. You need to go to the marketplace and ask them directly, "Hey, would you pay for this thing?" And then once they actually pay for it, then you're in. So I was selling these 360 virtual tours with one working photo. And I said, "Well, how are we going to do it?" He said, "Well, I'll just manually make it." I'm like, "Okay, what do you mean?" It's like, "I'll just code it." So he coded together these as the fulfillment. I went out to Best Buy and bought a camera and went and shot these. And I ended up driving like an hour for one of them. And I went out there. It was a huge mansion actually in Cyprus. I went out there because I'm going to go pre-validate and ask these folks, what they're willing to pay for, talk to the customers, talk to the niche, understand it better. And so I did this hard work, the work that does not scale. And what resulted was I walked away from 3 or 4 listings, I think, and I knew the process. I knew who would pay for it, and I knew who my customer avatar was, right? So then, and after that, after we pre-sold the service, right? So we had this we had to determine, do we think that the software would sell? Because we want to build software. Because I just sold this service, what do we do? And the thought was very simple. Let's get a MVP software built, see if we can sell it. So we have transactions, we have money flowing to us, very small amounts of money for this service. We take that, we pocket it. It feels good. Validation always feels wonderful. People are willing to pay for this thing. We take that information and we go turn it into a repeatable, predictable SaaS business. So that's what we did. So we started. I remember we started to invest in, and we hired a developer. And the first 2 developers we hired were just kind of a joke. Like I'll never forget this. Basically, I trusted. I said, I really trust Clayton. I know this guy's really smart, and I love this guy, and I want to partner with him in this deal. I think he can do it. Because I'm not technical. I'm not a coder. I don't do any. I've written 0 lines of code for our company, and I won't. I refuse to. It's not my role. I need to know my lane, right? So my role is to go out there, do wild stuff, market, sell, etc. Learn those skill sets and push those in the marketplace. And his role at first, at least, was to build the application, right? So when you have a good technical co-founder, you can do a lot of things. Now, I think in general, it's not the job of the technical co-founder to do all the code, but there will be times when he has to just dive in there and just make stuff work. And having that skill set, having that guy, that girl who can do that is so valuable. It's like what gets you over the line, okay? So back to the story, we're building this application, and we're kind of like, I can't see, I'm putting this money in a hole, it felt like, and I can't see the results, and there's all this code being written, and I don't even know what's happening, right? It just requires some patience. This is why I think it's really important that SaaS be one of your second or third business. It shouldn't be your first business. It requires lots of patience. And if you have never had success or had some transactions come your way, I did digital marketing in the past. I had side hustles that would work. I had all this different stuff that I knew I could do. And I knew building this product and making a great product would take time. So just having patience, being Zen-like with your patience is super important. So during that moment in time, I just had the patience. I don't know. I think it was like a gift from God, honestly. He was like, just chill, bro. It's going to work out. It's going to be fine. So finally one day, we had this working product. And man, it was like the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And I remember... we made the website, and I just turned on some ads on Google just to try it out. What's going to happen? Try it out. And I actually forgot that the ads were on. I went off and went out of town for the weekend. We're out of town, and I get this alert that says new sale. And I was like, what? And I sent over a picture of it to Clayton. I said, look, somebody paid us $10. I can't believe it. And it was in this moment in time where we're months into this deal, no fruit, no true success or progress was really happening. And so when you're in that kind of that little dark period, you need these signs of light, right? And we got one of those. We got this $10 transaction. Wow, couldn't believe it. It was really funny. And through that process of really hiring kind of maybe the wrong people, we got to learn what not to do, right? So who not to hire and how to go about it. And finally, we decided to invest in a better team and buy and over time, we had to revisit who our customer was. And it turned out that the realtor was not the person who really wanted to pay for this type of software. And we found the customer avatar. Once we did, I did a demo, showed it to him, and I told him it was $400 a year. And we just picked a number. And he said, sure, sounds good. Send me over the link and I'll sign up. And I was like, what? And once that happened, we're on to something, right? I did it again the next day, sold another one. So then over time, you start to just like figure out who your customer is. Even though your product's still at its baby phases, you can still sell it, right? You just need to be selling it, validating it, and getting those signs of light. It doesn't have to be perfect. I do remember one day, showing the software itself, how it looked so bad, it was embarrassing, But Clayton, promised me, hey, listen, styling's easy. We can make it look good. Don't worry about that. I was like, okay, I'm just going to trust you, right? It takes a lot of trust as an entrepreneur. But it's these things, these elements, these processes that in the journey, it's hard to get past that moat. The reason why software is so great is because beyond the moat, where success lies, is a very fruitful place. Like in the Bible says, it's the promised land is right over there. It's very hard to get to the promised land, okay? And a lot of folks stay on the other side because they're so scared of software development. Me too, I get that. I mean, I totally understand. Like, I don't want to do any code. If they sent me a bunch of code, I wouldn't even know what to do with it. But there's people who do, right? And so it's actually a good thing. It's a good thing that there's a moat there, that there's some it's difficult to build, because a lot of marketers are always looking for shortcuts. They're always trying to make fast money now. And that is to your advantage as a SaaS founder. You are looking to get across the moat. And once you're over there, you're going to know. This is very, very, very fruitful. And the margins are amazing. So my point is this. You as a entrepreneur are going to have a journey. And I do, for us at CloudPano, we started to invest in a better team. We started to get a better product. We started to get a real development architecture and processes really figured out when it comes to code reviews and releases and all these things, like, and new features that we would add. Going through that whole process took a lot of time. But sometimes you start to figure out your offers while you're figuring out your software, and then something like COVID hits and you explode, right? That's what happened to us. So sometimes something just got to happen and a spark hits and things go your way. But you have to be working before that happens, to be able to be prepared and be ready. So that's kind of our story. There's a lot more that goes into it. But basically, pre-sold the software with no idea what we're doing. I didn't know how to make software. Started to build it with a really poor development hires. I think it's a very common story, like to hire the worst people ever, like figure out this is terrible. I should just pay, if I pay double, I can make double, or I could have much better output. Now we just aggressively invest in the software development team. It's the best investment we can make. So we started off with, I said, we started off not knowing what we're doing, and over time, we built out these systems to build a great product and to continue to build it. And then when I started to apply the marketing methodologies to it, that's when we started to catch fire. So I'll go into some of those in later videos too as well. Hope this was helpful. Hope this was encouraging. As we stumbled along to figure it out, I think that if you're stumbling now, it's okay. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Just get past that moat, bro. The promised land is close. Talk soon.